welcome back to my channel. I am Vagisha Mishra, and in this video I am going to be answering all your questions which you have left me in the comment section as well as on Instagram. So without further ado, let's get started. But before that, I have an announcement to make that recently I have changed the platform's name from the Kaleidoscope of Pageantry to Pageants with Vagisha on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram already, the link has been left in the description box below. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and all other social media outlets. The link has been left in the description box below. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please ensure you do and turn on the bell icon so you'll be the first to get notified whenever a video goes live at my channel. Now let's get started. So the very first question comes from Shin Chen, who asked me, why do I think that Clara won Miss Gran International and Meenakshi could not won Miss Gran International irrespective of being such a great candidate, and she is beautiful also and she would have benefited the organization's brand name as well, then why did she not win? I personally believe that Nawat Istra Grisel, who is the chairperson of the Miss Gran International organization, wants to spread and flourish the Miss Gran International organization in Latin America. Since Latin American countries are quite crazy beyond beauty pageants and they are always ready and enthusiastic to participate in beauty pageants, I think he wants to spread the beauty pageants popularity in the Latin American countries first, and that is why I believe that they crowned Clara Sosa instead of Meenakshi Chaudhary. Although she was more deserving, more beautiful, and she had overall great personality and great candidature. One possible reason of not crowning Meenakshi could also be that Indonesia recently won Miss Grand International, and maybe Nawat did not wanted to crown yet another Asian representative. However, having said that, we have seen many Latin American countries winning the Miss Grand International crown in the span of very few years. So this is not a very valid point, but this may be one of the reasons. Having said that, I also believe that Meenakshi is a great candidate, and it's better that if we see her at a better platform like Miss Universe or Miss World Pageant. Now I have another question from Bizarre Red, who asked me how do I feel about Adeline Castellano and what do I think about her placement at the Miss Universe 2020 pageant, and who are my current top 5 for the Miss Universe pageant. So I certainly believe that Adeline Castellano is one of the very strong candidates whom we have crowned for the Miss Universe pageant, and in recent years we have seen a lot of good candidates, but Adeline actually is somebody who embodies all the qualities of being graceful, being beautiful, and being a great speaker. So I believe that crowning her was a very smart choice. However, looking at the present scenario, we are not seeing the Times Group of India doing something for Adeline Castellano, and whatever she is doing, it looks like she is doing all from her own end. So without any team supporting any candidate, it becomes very difficult to foray ahead in any beauty pageant. She is a very strong candidate, and if she is provided with the best of wardrobe, the photo shoots and training, then she will certainly excel well in the competition, which is something which I see missing in the present scenario. Because of the given situation of pandemic in Mumbai, we can understand well that Times Group might also be facing problems in procuring better training and arranging different public events for Adeline Castellano, which could be beneficial for her in the Miss Universe 2020 pageant. So I think if the team starts working well with Adeline in collaboration, and since Miss Universe 2020 pageant is postponed, I believe that she can do extremely well, and if she works very hard, then I do see a top 5 placement. Other than that, top 10 is completely fixed for India. That is what I feel. My current top 5 favorites for Miss Universe crown are India, Panama, Nicaragua, Brazil, and France. The next question I have is from Naresh Kumar, who asked me, what do you think about beauty pageant title holders joining Bollywood, even if they had promised in the initial days of their pageantry that they are not going to join Bollywood industry? Well, I completely understand that this question is definitely pointing to Manushi Chhillar. I believe that whenever any candidate is competing at a beauty pageant, she must be completely devoted and dedicated to the platform where she is working. If she is going to represent India internationally, the primary focus of her should be to give India a very good placement, because she solely is not representing at a given pageant, but she is representing the entire country. So all the expectations and hopes of the country are rested on her, and she has a huge responsibility of making India proud at international level. So Manushi, when she competed at the Miss World pageant, she was extremely polished and extremely good, and that is why I think we won the Miss World pageant. However, I also have a problem that she stated in her interviews initially that she might not join Bollywood because her focus is presently at the medical education which she is continuing at the present time. So I was also a little bit surprised when she made a debut in Bollywood, and recently she also signed her second movie in the Bollywood. So that was something which was a little bit surprising, but again, it's her life and it is completely her choice, and whatever she is doing after winning the Miss World title, we don't have any right to say or interrupt anything in that. So I completely respect her decision. It's her life and it's her choice, and let her do whatever she wants to do with her life, although she has made us proud by winning the Miss World title. The next question comes from Aditi, who asked me, is there any difference between the walk of a Miss India and in the walk of Miss Diva? Yes, definitely there is a little bit of difference, although the runway skills, the basic of the runway skills is more or less same. But when it comes to Femina Miss India, the candidate represents at Miss World, and at Miss World pageant we don't see a lot of fierceness and sassiness on the stage. We rather see the graceful kind of walk. It's slow at pace. So that is the difference. But when it comes to the Miss Universe pageant, we have swimsuit round and we both have evening gown round as well. So the walk varies and fluctuates a lot because swimsuit requires a lot of fierceness and energy, while evening gown round requires a lot of grace. So that is the only difference between the walk of a Femina Miss India and Miss Diva. So next question is from Priyanka, who asked me, how do I know so much about Miss India, and do you think Femina Miss India or Miss Diva is fixed or not? So this is a common question which I have encountered from most of the pageant fans who are following this platform. They are always asking me if I participated ever at Miss India pageant. No, I haven't ever participated at Miss India pageant, but I've been blogging about beauty pageants since last 6 years, and I've been covering most of the beauty pageants for my website and the blog, and I've also attended many of the events, and I have judged a national pageant which is India Exquisite pageant. So that is how I know many of the things of the pageant industry. And now coming to the second part of the question, do I think that pageants are fixed or not? This is a very tricky question, and I think I have answered it in my one of the previous videos, 5 things which no one will tell you about beauty pageants. I have answered this question already there. That most of the pageants are actually very fair, most of the pageant title holders are very fair and very deserving, but when it comes to a weak batch, we definitely see some of the politics happening, as well as how a national organization is connected to any international organization. That plays a huge role in deciding whether the winner of any national pageant will foray ahead in the international pageant or not. Because if you look at the pageants like Miss Earth or Miss International, irrespective of sending very strong delegates to those pageants, we are not doing extremely great in those pageants. But when it comes to the Miss World pageant, they are always cordially invited to Femina Miss India pageant, and we work accordingly the requirements of the Miss World organization, and that is what is the success mantra of Indian candidates at the Miss World pageant. Now I have another question from Star Pack, who asked me, what do I think about Neha's exclusion in the top 20 of Miss Universe, whereas Vartika placed in the top 20 of the Miss Universe pageant. So I definitely believe that Neha was such a polished and extremely good candidate. I completely respect her from the core of my heart, because I have seen how hard she has worked on herself to transform herself so beautifully. The way she took her story from the Indian platform to the international level, of sharing how a common girl can make her dreams true by working hard and by working with right conviction, is something which really inspires not only me but many of the young candidates who are going to prepare themselves for the coming edition of Miss India or Miss Diva. However, having said that, she was extremely good in the preliminary competition, but we never know what happened behind the scenes in the closed door interview. Was it solely because of the closed door interview where she could not make her mark? So maybe that is the reason why she could not place, although she is a fabulous candidate, and having a candidate like her at Miss Universe India is something which is very rare. So I really respect her a lot. Now coming to Vartika, Vartika was extremely good candidate. Needless to say, she has the face which is very rare to find in beauty pageant. She is so polished in her styling and so fabulous whenever she poses for the camera. I was also quite surprised when she could not make it to top 10 and she made it to top 20 and ended India's drought, which was a very huge relief for all the Indian pageant fans. But having said that, I believe that she was not very well versed when it came to speech, because she spoke well but she did not spoke very naturally in the opening speech and the opening statement. So I think that is what makes her in the top 20 semi-finalist, and that is why she could not proceed further. Another question also comes from Star Pack, who asked me, don't you think that Meenakshi was more deserving than Anukriti at Femina Miss India 2018? Of course, anyone who followed that beauty pageant would know that Meenakshi was single-handedly the strongest crown contender for the title of Femina Miss India. However, Anukriti won out of the blue and we were not expecting her to win the crown, so that was very surprising, and some of the pageants are always very surprising. And we also knew that since Manushi had won in the preceding year, it was not possible for India to win a back-to-back at the Miss World pageant in the current scenario. So maybe Times Group of India chose Meenakshi for the Miss Grand International title because they believe that she could do extremely well at the Miss Grand International beauty pageant, and she was very strong when it came to stage presence and fitness as well. So she was a very wise choice for Miss Grand International, and maybe that is why she did not win the main crown but the first runner-up position. Now the next question comes from Anu, who asked me, why do you think India is not placing at the Miss Universe pageant? As I discussed in my previous video, any organization, any international pageant organization wants the national pageant organization to follow the same norms and balance a cordial relationship with the international pageants. So when it comes to Miss Universe, we have always seen that India has crowned the Miss Universe representatives very late. Suppose Miss Universe pageant is going to begin in November and we crown a representative in September. So it gives a very bad impression as a national pageant that we are not very much serious about the training and about the Miss Universe pageant. So how are they going to place us if we ourselves are not paying much attention to our national pageant and not giving value to the international pageant as well? However, this year India made a very strong and wise move by crowning Adeline a lot earlier than the usual time. So this was something which is very wise. And maybe this time we may also get a very good placement at the Miss Universe pageant as well. But when it comes to the Miss World pageant, they are always cordially invited, as I discussed earlier. So that totally depends on how the national pageant organization is maintaining their relationship with the international pageant organization as well. So most of the things depend on the candidates, but not everything is dependable on the candidate and how they perform in the preliminary. It's more about how India is performing at the given pageant, and we cannot expect India to win the Miss Universe crown out of the blue. If we observe all the countries which have won the Miss Universe crown recently, we have seen them placing consistently throughout the years and reaching top 5 throughout the years in these all years of the participation. So they have always maintained a consistency which India has lacked. We have not reached a top 5 placement since the last 2 decades. So this is something which is negative when it comes for India. So before reaching the top 5, we cannot expect to win the Miss Universe crown out of the blue. The next question I have is from Anne-Marie Vinoj. She asked me who is my favorite continental beauty queen at Miss World pageant and who did not win the Miss World title. So she's none other than Edina Kulsasser, Miss World Hungary 2014, who finished as the first runner-up at the Miss World 2014 pageant. She was so bubbly and vivacious, and her overall personality was so fun to watch, because usually when we follow the Miss World pageant, it is quite boring and very monotonous. But when we saw Edina representing Hungary so beautifully at the Miss World pageant, we were all smiles with her overall personality and her bubbliness. So that is why I love her. One of my another favorite continental winner is Suman Rao, who represented India at Miss World 2019 and finished as the second runner-up. The way she walks, the way she talks, and how elegantly she poses on the stage. She is very graceful and full of life. So this is something which really makes me adore her, and the way which she performed at the dances of the world, that was beautiful. So she's somebody whom I completely appreciate and adore. The next question comes from Pageants with Gran, who asked me, considering the fact that IMG needs money, do you think they will deservingly unplace Philippines once? So that is a very interesting question, because most of the time we have seen Filipino candidates doing extremely well at the Miss Universe pageant, and irrespective of all the other beauty pageants where they are performing very well, when it comes to Miss Universe, they are more than prepared for the competition, and they have been preparing for the competition not only by the time they get crowned for the Miss Universe pageant, but before that also they are continuing with rigorous training. So that is something which makes them very strong candidate when it comes to the Miss Universe pageant. However, to answer your question, I believe that if in this decade Philippines undeservingly places in the Miss Universe pageant, then pageant fans are certainly going to raise their voices. So definitely, if they are not sending strong candidates who can make it huge in the Miss Universe pageant, they may unplace also. I have another question from Tanvi Agrawal, who asked me, is it necessary to win the Campus Princess title in order to win the state title as well as the national title? So no, it is not compulsory to win the Campus Princess title. Actually, Campus Princess is just a small minor pageant under the Femina Miss India and Miss Diva organization, which scouts talent from all the different campus and universities and different colleges, where the girls who are studying in the universities or colleges, they participate, and one of them is shortlisted as the winner. All the Campus Princess winners do not directly compete for the National Campus Princess title, but few of them are shortlisted as the finalist of the finale, which happens for the Campus Princess. The winner of the Campus Princess for Miss Diva gets a direct entry to Miss Diva finals, whereas when it comes to Femina Miss India, the winner of the Campus Princess from each state, she gets a top 5 entry to the audition of every particular state where they are auditioning for the Femina Miss India pageant. So I hope that answers your question. So I have another question from Namrata, who asked me, what do you think sets Manushi apart from all the other winners, other than her Beauty with a Purpose project, her beauty and her personality? Now you have listed everything, but one thing which you might not be knowing is her discipline. So recently I conducted an interview with Melvin Norona, who is the national costume designer of Femina Miss India. So since he has worked closely with the Femina Miss India organization, he told me that when it came to discipline, Manushi was extremely disciplined. Like the way with which she followed her routine, the conviction and dedication with which she followed her routine was commendable, and no other normal girl could have followed that disciplined routine. So that is something which is very beautiful in Manushi, and maybe that is why she could win the Miss World title, because she was utmost dedicated and devoted towards the cause where she was working. Now I have another question from Zeal, who asked me how to prepare for the pageant question and answer and how to frame sentences. So I would first advise you to follow all the previous year question and answer round of Miss Universe as well as Miss USA pageant. They are easily available on YouTube. You can have a look at those question and answer rounds, and you can learn how the candidates choose brief words in order to describe their ideas, because usually you get very less time to answer your question. So it's better that you round up all the things which you are thinking, and that is possible only when you start practicing it consistently. You cannot expect to stand on stage and answer brilliantly in just 10 seconds or 15 seconds without practicing the question and answer round. So it's better you take down all those questions which have been asked in the previous edition, practice it in front of mirror, frame your answers and see if they fit the bill or not. Other than these, there are many pageant websites also which conduct the question and answer round frequently among their readers. So you can also look the possible expected questions which are asked in all the pageants and then prepare your answers accordingly. And more or less, whenever the question is twisted, you can use certain ideas in the different question as well if it sounds similar to the question which you have prepared for. Now I have another question from Nikita, who asked me how to crack zonals. Winning the zonal is your very first step to your dream of becoming a Miss India. So to crack the zonals, it is very important that you are very rigorous in your training. Sometimes when candidates perform at Femina Miss India, they believe that they will give their best only when they start reaching at the national level of the competition. So this is a very bad misconception, and people should always start working hard from the very first day of the audition itself. You need to stand out and you need to be your better version. You don't need to think that Since it is a zonal pageant, it is a very minor thing and you don't have to put a lot of efforts. So make sure your wardrobe, your styling, your walk, your speech and your confidence is top notch, and you have already prepared well in advance 6 months before the pageant audition, so that you are very much confident when it comes to your zonal. The zonal pretty much contains the similar rounds as of the finale. They have the interview round, they have the walk round, the finale, as well as many other pre-pageant activities which are conducted in the finale as well. So it's going to prepare you for the further step and it will always help you. So it's better that you start preparing from a very early stage. So Preetham Patra and Aditya have more or less very similar question. They asked me what is it that Miss Diva organization needs to change in order to do better at the Miss Universe pageant. So as I discussed earlier, Miss Universe organization has always been sidelined by the Miss Times Group of India, and that is where we need to pay attention. We need to pay attention on inviting the Miss Universe title holders to our finale, which is not possible right now, but in the coming edition we should invite all the Miss Universe title holder, the reigning Miss Universe title holder, just like Putri Indonesia, where they invite the reigning Miss Universe and they wear kabaya and they walk on the stage. So it's very beautiful to see them walking on the stage in all glory. So that is something how we can show that we value the Miss Universe organization. We have already crowned a very strong candidate like Adeline, but it is important that we pay attention to all the minute details of the pageant preparation, like the photo shoots, the different trainings, different philanthropic activities which can be widespread, which is not possible due to the given pandemic, but that is something which we can always work on whenever we are aiming to win the Miss Universe pageant. Another question I have is from Aditya, who asked me, do you think will Tanvi win the Miss Earth crown? As I have discussed already in my previous answer, that the national pageant's relation with the international pageant matters a lot when it comes to winning any title. So since Miss Earth organization has always ignored us, and since we have not played since a very long time at Miss Earth, it becomes very difficult for India to proceed further. Talking about Tanvi alone, she is a very strong candidate. Facially, she is very beautiful. Performance-wise, she is extremely good and poised. And I definitely believe that she deserves to place and maybe even enter the top 5 of the Miss Earth pageant. However, how our organization, the national organization of Divine Beauty, has the relationship with the Miss Earth organization depends a lot on that, and we shall see in the future how India is going to fare at the Miss Earth pageant. So that completely depends on how our organization is maintaining their relation with the international organization. Talking about Tanvi alone, she is a very strong candidate and deserves to win. So I have another interesting question coming from Aparna, who asked me, can Zozibini and Tony win the exact opposite pageants if interchanged? So that was a very good question. I believe Zozibini could have definitely won the Miss World title also, because she speaks so well that she's extremely well whenever it comes to talk and whenever it comes to sharing her ideas with the audience. Hand her the mic and you will not be surprised how mesmerizingly she speaks. But when it comes to the Miss Universe pageant, it has swimsuit round as well, which I believe Tony and Singh might not do well at. So Zozibini could have definitely won the Miss World title, but when it comes to Miss Universe, I do not think that Tony could have won the Miss Universe title for Jamaica. The next question I have is from Akshara, who asked me, can we use Bix in the pageant? So basically all of the pageant candidates, they use extensions whenever they are going for photo shoots or simple pre-pageant activities as well. Whenever you go for any international pageant, you always carry an extension with you. So yes, that is commonly used in beauty pageants. Now Fashion Circuit asked me a question, who do you think should be Miss International India in this year? I personally want to see a Northeastern beauty doing great at Miss International pageant. We have recently seen Maria Chanu doing very well at Miss Earth India pageant. So maybe if she is very willing to enter into beauty pageants again, then I see her doing extremely well at the Miss International pageant. The next question I have is from Amir, who asked me, why do you think Trinidad could not win the second Miss World crown? I believe the problem arises when we are not consistent with the given respective international beauty pageants, because if we are very much consistent with the beauty pageant, then we always perform well. Since Miss World pageant has revamped a lot in the recent years, we have seen new pre-pageant activities like the head-to-head challenge and many other rounds introduced after this decade. To answer this question, I believe consistency is the key when it comes to beauty pageant. If we are not consistent with our representatives and how they perform in the pre-pageant activities, then we are certainly not going to win the crown. So consistency plays a major role when it comes to winning any beauty pageant. Now coming to our last question from Agartala's diary, who asked me, why do you think Maryam and Valeria could not place in their respective international beauty pageant? So I believe it's not only about the walk, the way you talk and how you perform in the preliminary activity, but how you behave with your fellow contestant and how you project your personality as a whole in any given beauty pageant. So that is what makes you stand out in any beauty pageant, and these are the qualities which are assessed whenever you're looking for the placement holders or maybe even the title holder of any respective international beauty pageant. So I think this might be the aspects where these candidates would have lacked, and that is why they could not place further higher in the competition. So that was it for this huge and gigantic question and answer session. I received more than 50 questions for this question and answer session, and I had to filter questions because most of the questions were repetitive, and I had to take very specific questions to answer in this Q&A video. So thank you for watching, and if you have any more questions coming up for the next Q&A video, you can drop it down in the comment section. I ensure to go through the comment section always, and I answer as many queries as I can. If you like the content of the channel, give it a huge fat thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video.